And the beauty in spirituality, which I found out very fast also, is that there can be no use of power at any stage on a spiritual journey. You cannot grow if somebody tries to force you. See, my life as a politician was, seen from outside, it was like one big, beautiful balloon, right? Lots of colors and ribbons and lights, and it was so flashy, right? It looked so nice. And the balloon was just getting bigger and bigger, being known and getting married with a beautiful woman and all these things, earning a lot of money and being famous, and everybody seemed to like you. All those things, it was just a big, big balloon that was growing and growing, right? And the more it grew, the more hollow I became inside. The more emptiness I felt inside. Because it just felt like the outer surface, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing inside. So that longing was there, right? And it's actually when I was in the middle of the campaign politically, when one day I put my hand on my heart and I couldn't feel it. It was dead. It was cold. Intuitively, I have always somehow known, I don't know from where, that it had to come through the heart. Whatever it was, it had to come through the heart. Some of the books, I was following some Christian mystic group there, and they had read that at bedtime you can send a prayer to God and ask for, if it's a real wish from the heart, you can ask, right? See, I didn't believe in God. I'm not grown up with people in my family believing or talking about religion or spirituality or anything with belief. So I didn't know anything about prayer or God or anything, right? So I thought, but it can't harm anything also, right? If there's no God in your prayer, if prayer doesn't work, also doesn't harm anything, right? So I desperately prayed for 3 nights, actually. If there's anything out there, please show yourself. And then I kind of forgot about it. Then I think a couple of weeks later, I met my aunt, and she was talking about meditation. I had tried it before, and it was a little scary for me because I had felt so much change was going on. Mm-hmm. So much that I could not fit in the role I was put in at that time, right? My whole life had to dissolve and disappear. So I got scared about that, but I called it boring, right? Because no man will admit fear, right? So I was not much interested. And then she said, on divine light in the heart. I said, what? Divine light in the heart, she said. I want to try that. So when I was introduced to Heartfulness, I was very systematic. I have this academic background, right? So the first thing was to check the value system. Mm-hmm. And there were 4 things that was critical for me in the beginning. One thing, it had to be about the heart. That was already a check, right? Second thing was, it should not be a money machine.
Sure.
And it was clearly said from the beginning, we don't charge anything. Check. Third thing was about the master. Does that mean we are slaves? Are we just here to make him feel happy? But very fast I realized it's just reverse, right? He is here for his master, doing his master's work. And his master's wish is to work for us. So we are kind of his masters, you could say. So that was also a check very fast. Then the last thing was really, really important to me. And that was this thing about power use. Because I experienced it so much in politics, maybe also, right? That people use power on you to get you to somewhere where you actually don't want to be. And you might be manipulated into a situation where suddenly you have turned on some people that are your friends also. Or that they are saying, this is for your own good. This is for your own good. And so that was critical for me. And the beauty in spirituality, which I found out very fast also, is that there can be no use of power at any stage on a spiritual journey. You cannot grow if somebody tries to force you. Mm. And why is that? Well, for the first thing is that when you meditate, you close your eyes. Nobody knows what's going on in there. If you are not interested, it won't be meditation also. So you won't progress also on the journey. So those 4 ticks was there, right? Now the value system I had checked, right? So second thing is I need to experience what is going on here. And for that I also realized very fast, You need to commit yourself to this. You can't take 10% of what they suggest and expect you will experience 100%. I was dedicated to that. I have always been dedicated to that from the very beginning, that I needed to invest myself in this. And then slowly you started seeing results, right? Like the first week I was introduced, I became a vegetarian, to give you an example.
And you've been a lifelong non-vegetarian before?
We are hardcore non-vegetarians. Barely noticed it because it just dropped off like a leaf falling from the tree, right? There's nobody jouting, now I'm falling. I mean, it's just a natural process, right? So after some time, alcohol disappeared. Of course, there are a lot of much more subtle things, like maybe becoming more sensitive, more observant, right? And I started having that experience of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all, in my idea, it's all the blessing of charity, that he taught me how to develop that love. And so for me, the proof, as you can understand, the proof was to experiment, test and test and test, to experiment and see how does it actually work on you. But the thing is, that the problem is that in the beginning, I couldn't feel my heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I joined. The first couple of years when I was doing my practice, when coming out of meditation, I thought I might as well have been meditating on my big toe because I had no clue how to connect with my heart, right? But after a lot of cleaning, suddenly I started feeling, I can feel something is being spoken here. Men det var på et sprog, som jeg ikke kunne forstå. It was in a language I didn't understand. I could hear words are being told, but I couldn't understand, right? So another couple of years with a lot of cleaning, and suddenly I started being able to hear what the heart suggested.